afternoon. We're making our way along a ridge up into the Urrda Mountains, and I'm going to break here and talk a little anime.
Urda.
Urda, the Third Reich was a 2002 sci-fi anime set during World War II. It was originally made as a computer-animated webisode serial. It's been collected onto DVD as a single 30-minute story. It's 1943 in Germany during World War II. That's between the Allied offensive in Italy and the D-Day invasion, and the battle for Leningrad is still undecided. A pair of time travelers from 170 years in the future accidentally crashed their shuttle in Germany. At least one Nazi officer grasped the importance of the technology contained within that ship and the knowledge that its occupants have. I think they figured it out from an old Star Trek episode that slipped through a hole in the space-time continuum. Brunhild Cruz, who dresses like a character from a bad S&M parody, is out to collect the ship and its passengers, a project she's codenamed Urda. She's already captured half the two-person crew in Alan, the engineer. The other astronaut from the future, Chris, is almost a child, with that "aren't you a little young to be test piloting an experimental spaceship" helpless look. Luckily for history, a pair of Allied spies are also on the case. Erna was trained as a Nazi agent with a mysterious past before she turned to join the Allies. Her perky partner Janet is full of Hollywood badinage. For someone fighting behind enemy lines, Janet seems to have seen an awful lot of recent Hollywood movies, like Casablanca. Yes, an almost all-female cast. It seems World War II will come down to a series of catfights because there's a lot of past bad blood between Erna and Brunhild. The action in Urda is fast and furious, and pretty much non-stop, without a moment to catch your breath or overthink the plot line. It's not going to waste a lot of time on exposition, but devotes almost its entire 30 minutes to one action sequence after another. A good number of them are familiar chase and fight-style scenes, but a few towards the end get a little more imaginative. In fact, Urda starts right in the middle of a chase sequence involving Erna and Chris, and it fills in the background on why Chris is so valuable, and how she got to 1943, and what Erna's doing behind enemy lines, and what about her rivalry with Brunhild, in little snatches of dialogue and even quicker mini flashbacks. So, a little will have to go a long way for character development. After all, it only has half an hour to tell the story. But inserting those confusingly quick bursts of flashback into the action sequences actually conveys an impressive amount of background information without slowing down the breakneck pace of the story. And one thing about using Nazis, you don't have to explain who the bad guys are. The story, like all time travel stories, will do its best to twist history into a Mobius loop. This is a cute but unassuming example of that genre. The series was originally made as a series of web-distributed webisodes and is a pioneer in that. It uses computer-generated cel-shaded animation, which is computer 3D graphics reprocessed by computer to flatten the colors so it looks like painted ink cells. This is an early example of that technique and was done on a budget, so the character motion sometimes looks a little awkward, like something posted from a video game onto YouTube. You won't confuse it with Appleseed Ex Machina. Urda was conceived, written, directed, and animated by Romanov Iga. He's also recently created another web-distributed anime, Cat Blue Dynamite, with some improvements in the art motion techniques. And apparently he's slated to direct a new Appleseed sometime soon. Jun Kishimo's background music was good enough action fare, providing all the pulse-quickening excitement we needed for chase scenes and swelling in volume for dramatic climaxes and confrontations. The English dub is a bit miscast. The voices don't fit the characters terribly well, and attempts at lip sync produce a lot of awkward pauses in the dialogue. I suggest the Japanese soundtrack with subtitles. I give Urda 3.5 stars. It's a very minor, fast-paced action story involving time travel, and while the story isn't unique, at least it's cute and tells the story quickly. The action scenes are pretty well staged, if not necessarily original or well rendered. The animation is only interesting as history or an example of a one-man band. The DVD includes a few extras, such as a couple of extended scenes and an alternate cut of what was originally Web Episode 2.
Thanks for listening.